more, and then they went again. And then if you look at this volume profile here, let me just kind of make it a little bit bigger here. You'll see it now here. You see the distribution, they accumulated, and you went back. So in terms of volume, this 6670, somebody go mute a little bit if you don't mind. There's TV background. This POC is going to be fairly important for the bulls, right? When you think about it, this was the last accumulation before the next leg up, but so is the value area high, right? Because when you look at this, and I'll just bring up some levels. This was our prior week value area high, and I just grabbed the SVP as well as the TPO, and you'll see it here. They're kind of nicely aligned on RTH, and you'll see here this one is a little bit higher on the ETH, right? On TPO and a little lower here. So what I did, I just based it off of the regular hours, and you'll see the tighter range here. And this is going to be key for me in terms of weekly levels. This is the level and the zone that I'm watching, right? If we are able to auction below this, what tells you what's next? We know this is 3 distributions. So the way you guys should treat this, whenever you see something like this, let me just bring this little guy here. It's my favorite tool for some reason now. So if you're able to see this, there's one, right? Here's the next one. And this one is a little tighter, I would say. And this one goes here. So now the way you treat this, right, is if you break below this level, 78, then most likely you're going to auction to 66.4 or look for acceptance here. And the way you play this is this. Let's say tomorrow we open somewhere around here above this and we lose this and we come from the bottom and we're struggling. That's a short, and you're taking that to this level right here. Most likely it's going to go to 66.71. Is there a chance that it's going to be a bounce at 66.77? Yes. This is a weekly VWAP right at that level, plus the level of the acceptance of distribution, right? So what they typically like to do is they like to do a little trap, and then if they reclaim this level, then you got to be careful, because what are they telling you? Well, they're telling you that they want to trade in this zone. So you should treat this as a zone, and then this one as a zone. We'll just color it something else. And then the last one, you know, if you can get acceptance here, this one is a zone as well. Does that make sense? I'm trying to visualize so you guys can see it visually. Does that click for everyone? Why?
Okay. Yep, very clear.
So, and the way you play, you know, you lose this one, great. Let's say they get back inside and we are in D period, right? Euro close. We come here and then you get a little bit of access. And let's say the D period makes higher high compared to C period here, and you're inside. What do? What is market telling you at that point? So this would be your single prints here. Let me just not extend this. This, but not extend. If they give you something like this, and this is access of the D period, and they get back inside 77, don't short it. Because they're telling you they're not interested trading in this distribution. If that's the case, most likely they're going to visit this area of 704 to 708 on a weekly important level. We'll talk about this 714, pretty important for, I would say, open tomorrow. And any quick reactions around this level, but we will get to that. Does this make sense how you will play it? If you go below and you see them struggling, they can't make higher highs, most likely going to the bottom, and we're going to go all the way down and explore the whole weekly area. Does that make sense? Any area, either the price can either do what? What are the two things the price can do tomorrow?
Accept or reject.
Accept or reject.
Yeah, so tomorrow it's all about you guys paying attention. Are we accepting the price here? Are we accepting the price on the bottom? If you come in here and the price quickly bounces out of it, what is that telling you?
Rejection.
Rejection, right? We don't want to trade here. It's unfair low. Non-fair low means that, there's demand there and people are willing to buy it. Maybe other time frame participants sees it at a really advantageous price. Is that possible? Yeah. We have different views, different value perspective. Maybe a 2-day value guy sees value when it dips here and he'll sell it here. Maybe a weekly guy will find it somewhere below, or a monthly guy would find it on the bottom of this, right? Somewhere around 64,500, right? But we have to kind of seek one by one to see where we are. So triple distribution on the weekly, and these are the key zones, and I mark them and I'll share the chart, with these, first distribution bottom. If you're looking here, to trade between 88 and 77, it should probably be quick. So if you're scalping and you want to play that game, it's going to be quick between here and here. So if they lose 88, will I scalp it? I don't know. If I'm by the computer, I'll probably take it, drive it down. But at the same time, you can find some, when you go in these LVNs like this one, they can kind of try again and then quickly down, just to kind of bait these people over, out of the short, get them out, and then they dump. They did that a few times last week. Okay, so everybody clear on the distributions and importance of it? I'll leave this so you guys can have it. Maybe I'll color code it. But if we open above, let's say 704, this area, especially 714. Now let's talk about 714 and we'll turn on the daily here. On the weekly, should be good. I mean, Friday's auction was probably the worst auction we've had in a very long time, but all right, so here's your Friday volume dying, and then boom, last, I think it was K period. So you see how we had the, I would say the poor high in between I and J, then the K period came in here. Let me make sure I'm on 4. Yeah. Maybe it would have set on 3, but let's see. You see this was a poor high, and then the letter K came in, and I'll show you guys here. Here's letter K. So you have I and J, that's called a poor high. Then the K period comes in, breaks the high. They went all the way to the prior high right here, no rejection, and they started building value. And what else did we have on Friday?
A spike.
Yeah, we had a spike. So if you think about this is going to be your spike. I'll treat that as just a few points. I don't have too many charts. But you have this spike base, right? So if the bulls, by some miracle, they're able to hold this about 26 open tomorrow, that'd be great. If they open here, right, and they hold this 14, there's a very, very high chance that they're going to go higher. Tell me why. If we open here and the price goes something like this, is this a short?
No.
Don't short that, guys. I'm telling you, don't short that. It's better to be late than early to not short here. You could definitely short from here to here if you want to play with some fire for 12 points. But this is treated as a distribution because letter K period is trying to reject this 2-day value that we had, right? So I would not short that. But this level here, if you lose 14, then we should get excited, right? Then the doors open up, right? We know that this can be a little bit of a problem because you can see the price action that they had here, right? They might find some value, and then if they reject out of here, guys, it's going to be almost instant, something like this. Does that make sense? Why? And why the 14? So first of all, it's the value area high. Second of all, it's the single prints that broke out, I would say, shit price action to a higher, and then they had the spike. So the first sign of bearishness would be the spike. If they reject it or open below it, that means they're rejecting higher prices. Most likely visit 14, where if we fail here, guys, very, very high chance you go at least 88. You can trim some there, and then ultimately 71. Is that fairly clear and everybody up to speed? Why?
88 because of value area low.
88 is because of the first distribution bottom. Remember on the weekly? Yeah. So, and then this one is, this is the gap we talked about because it had, so think about this here. You had single prints access this day, single prints access this day, and then buying access on this day. So it's 3 TPOs built by 2 days of access high and 1 day of access low. So 2 days you're saying there's a lot of supply, and then there's a lot of buyers the next day. You open above them, and then basically you dip and buy back all up. It makes total sense, right? So the price should really flush between the 88 and 77. And sometimes I like to take 1 or 2 years contract when I see that they're struggling and take it down, especially if the footprints agree with that. Okay, so far so good. Anyone confused? Is there anything else on the daily that you guys, just a good information?
I'm not sure if it's relevant, but I did draw the fixed value profile for the last few days because it kind
Okay.
of overlap.
Sure. There's 2 days, right? Definitely overlap here. It was balanced, and now you can treat this right here, and it comes out to be around that 14 level. The first sigma and the bottom one comes out to 91, very close to 88. Will be important zone because you guys also know that when we were trading, wasn't it 87.25 that we were watching last week on Thursday? We said that was the key. I believe I wrote it in Shorty's corner. Let's take a look. I wrote it. 87.25 was the key that we were watching, and that's where we bounced as well. And when you think about it, why? This was a 2-day balance, and similar thing what you're saying here, Bloop, right? Is that you have this agreement right now, but the range between the 2 days is pretty wide, right? You're talking about 70 to about 731. So not bad, right? But this prior week, I would say Virgin POC and the weekly is going to play a huge role. And you can definitely treat this as you suggested here. It's going to be very close to that value on the high side, right? And then you have the weekly value area high here. So you can definitely do that. But this is what I'm interested tomorrow. Are you opening or closing? Are you opening here? And if you can't hold it, you have an opportunity to give me this dump, basically what I would look for. You open here, lose this, you're going to give me this right here. And then, weekly VWAP. There, if they can't hold it, then prior week value are low, and that would be the 80%, right? And then if you can't hold this, that means you're rejecting the prior week value. You're most likely headed to the bottom. And this was the week prior value area high where we bounced nicely. On the bullish side, let me see how you guys will play it. Let's say we open above 714, we crash through the 26 area on a spike base. How do you guys determine the next levels?
Like a fibs.
You can definitely use fibs. Is there another approach?
Mark the value area and copy and put on top.
You could definitely do that, right? Or better yet, you could take the whole last week's range and you could do something with that. Does anyone know what you can do with that?
You can look at the time it took to cover that range.
Well, you can take the range and you can find the 1.5 of it, and you can find the double of it, which should be doubling of the last week's range to the top. So if they do the same extension as last week, there will be a 56.75. If they do 1.5, they will be somewhere around here, 93. And then another thing I did is I just took fibs here, right? I took the fibs between this week's like high to here to the low, and then I got the 765 as the first level, 808, and 56. But this level here is the 1.5. I don't really pay attention too much to it, but between 2 and these fibs, these are my next levels up top. Like this one right here, this one here, and that one up top is just an extremely extension, right? Weak extension to the top. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And you can do that multiple ways. In this case, I'm just using, I have these little boxes that I use, and you'll see it. So It's just extending, right, from 0 to 1, and then basically doubling it all the way to the top. Another way you could do it is you could take the fibs, right? So let's do it correctly. If you do the fibs, and you can also do the 2, right? If you put the 2 here, now look, the 2 is going to be right there lined up perfectly. Does that make sense what I did? 12? I did it fast. So. I'm just trying to find the symmetry between the last week and the following week that's coming up. So I'm just saying, give me the last week's, give me the double of it. And you see the level come up here. Yeah, 200% there. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Levels to the upside, but it's very important that they hold the 714 tomorrow. If they fail, let's see where they are after hours.
Currently at 714.
Okay.
You called it.
If they failed this, guys, even tonight, the only thing is that this looks pretty bad actually tonight. It looks like they might just flush it tonight. At least go to about 6,700, and I don't think there's a lot of news upcoming week. Let's take a look. Sometimes the button works, sometimes it doesn't. But today decided not to. I'll have to check to see what's on the calendar, but I would expect FMOC. Tom, is there anything critical coming up?
I haven't checked yet. Let me pull it up. Give me a sec.
I think Powell was speaking on Tuesday, but
Yeah,
I might
he's
be wrong.
speaking. Yeah, there's this inflation coming up, I think. Give me a sec.
Is it Congress talk or is it him just talking?
I think it's just him talking. Oh, there's PMI tomorrow.
Okay, well, PMI might play a little bit of a role, especially with the news that they got about the cuts. So tomorrow's PMI might play a big
Oh,
role.
Wednesday's is PC. Yeah, there's his inflation numbers.
Ooh, okay. Monthlies?
Yeah. Huh?
Monthlies or quarterlies for Wednesday?
No, the monthlies, the PCs.
Okay. So I mean, they'll play a role, I believe, on Tuesday, but tomorrow we should have some movement, right? Right now we have a poor low. I'm gonna, after we get off, actually, I'm gonna stay around on PC just to see if I get an opportunity to see what they want to do. They have tiny access on the top. As long as they don't reclaim this, I would say 17 from Friday here. Might not be a bad short, but let's see. But they're gonna try to defend, but this will be fixed tonight. It's about 4 points, not worth it, but it looks pretty bad. And somebody said that maybe not here. Supposedly Snap and 24-hour trading is at $9. Is that true or somebody's photoshopping? IP, were you messing with us?
Excuse me. Yeah, it's true. They're it's over 9. It's sorry, give me a second. And then there was some there was some news. Well, I'm looking on Webull, but I know they have it on Robinhood as well. So it's 9:22 right now, and the news is they released their new spectacles, or unveiled its 5th generation spectacles alongside a major Snap OS 2.0 update. Yeah, so that's pretty much the news.
I don't know. Is anyone in Snap calls like the 10?
I am.
I think I had like $6,000-7,000.
I am too.
I think it went over 50% Friday, but this should put us close to 200-300%. And we have, I think, more than a year. I'll check. I think I'm in 27.
Yeah, mine's up 55% as of Friday, or 56%.
Yeah, which is good. And I'm not going to sell for a while. I'm just looking, just to check. Because I'm dyslexic. Well, we have January 15, 2027. So $10 calls. Yeah, we're up 56%.
Before this
obviously,
dollar
these
jump.
That's before the dollar jump. So tomorrow these are going to be well over 200%. And I'm not going to sell it, just FYI. The worst case is I can start selling some shorter dated calls on it, right? But I'm not going to sell just yet. I did post something here and I'm going to explain it. I actually had to do a lot more research last night for about 4.5 hours on what all this company does to really, really understand it. How they make money. So I believe I understand it now. But if you guys look here, this starts from 2020, from almost COVID lows, right? And if you guys turn on the PVP, and this is what got my attention, and I'll explain it step by step. I went to 12 months. I want to see the yearly profile, and I'll delete this for a moment. And I'm like, okay, well, this stock, take a look at this, right? A lot of volume was absorbed here, right, on this 19. A lot of volume, and then they cracked out of that, which is kind of out of a lowercase b, right? And look at the, I'm just gonna do a straight line of this value. Look what they did since. What is this telling you on a really, really high time frame? Well, all of the volume was here, and then they sent it higher, made higher highs. They came back to that value, which is a clear rejection of lower values, meaning they do not want to trade here, right? They want to trade higher. From that point, they cracked equal highs here, and then they put in a higher high at 140. Right now, they're about to come here, and then I was like, okay, well, let me see what does the composite profile tell me. What are they doing, right? And this is where it gets really, really interesting, right? The only thing is when the recessions come in, and some of you guys that work in the corporate world, the first thing that they're going to cut, the companies cut, is what?
Advertising.
Ads.
Advertisements and external labor. And people right now that are on H-1B1 visas, right? That's something that a lot of companies, and I can share some metrics. Amazon has about 10,000 resources on H1. That's going to be problematic, right? And companies usually start cutting marketing advertising budgets, right? And this company has something cool, right? When you guys search, or I don't know if it ever happens to all of us, right? You talk to your wife or a friend, you're talking about glasses. The next day, you go on any website and the ads pop up everywhere, Ray-Bans. Has it happened to you?
Oh yeah.
Too many times.
All the time.
Yeah. So this is the company behind it. They sell ad space live auction for companies based on the customer, based on your searches, where are you, geolocations. They sell that to companies, be like, hey, I have a potential customer for you. Boom, auction sold. Just like we have an auction stock market, this company operates live ad space as well. That's part of their business. I didn't know they did this. That's who drives it. That's the engine behind it. And they are monopoly in that space. If I tell you that Procter & Gamble relies on this company the most, what would you think? You guys know who Procter & Gamble is?
Yeah, I would say they have a good steady source of income.
Is there anyone that doesn't know who's Procter & Gamble? Please tell me you don't. One of you has to be like, no, I don't.
I don't.
No freaking way. Okay, well, watch this. You use them. This is Procter & Gamble. All of these brands are Procter & Gamble. I think
Kind of like a Jonathan and Johnson.
Rockets knows about Always Always. He's all about that. And then grooming, hair care. This is where I
What
come
the
in.
hell?
I'm just scrolling through, but take a look at this. They own a shitload. And they are their number one customer on TTD. You might want to read their 10K reports. like, hopefully most of you guys use something here, but they own a lot. And if that company is committed to something like this, that's good. Is there a potential that AI might throw this off? Yeah, but I wouldn't say the TTD is just going to lift their hands and say we're not going to have AI. They already have an AI platform built in, since that's the new, buzzword. You have AI, so they do have that as well. So I'm telling you, my goal here is if they give me this bottom, if they clean this bottom here, and let's say they clean, I think it was 39.95 or something like that. Yeah, 38.90. They clean this area, and they give us some access on a daily, meaning that advantageous people hop in and they're like, okay, we're buying it. Shorty's buying it too. Like, I'll buy it as well, and then this can fly, and I'll most likely look to double my money on this one. Any questions? And that I didn't run the scans, but I was just running in bed later, basically scanning through some random names, and this one was there. So I'm just giving you potential for this setup here. If it plays out, this would be nice. Let me see. I was gonna bring up some.
Yeah, and it was in the scans, I believe a week or two back.
Oh, a few weeks back. Let me see. Where is it now? Oh, TTDs right now. It's on the bottom of the monthlies. Where's it here? I'm just gonna go over here. If you guys don't care for stocks, you can probably drop, so I don't waste your time. If for some miracle, right, let's say we hit a recession tomorrow and the World War III is announced, this is going to dump to 20. And at this point, I'll probably throw in a good chunk of money on it. As the recessions recover, people start targeting, eventually they're going to have to target millennials, Gen Z with slightly different fashion. That was the logic why I like Snap. I think companies like TTD, Adobe, and a few others are not bad ideas to be buyout for Snap, personally. Because to get into the mindset of millennials and Gen Z and how they operate, how they function, what are their spending habits? Well, don't you think TTD would have all that info? They would. And companies like Adobe and Google, they also have I think Adobe's at $10 to $12 billion cash. Google's at $95 billion cash. I'm gonna watch this, guys, really, really closely. Just see if they give me this low clearance, clean it up, and then give me an opportunity to go long. If we could get 20, that would be golden. But say probably not. Somebody talked about Tesla, right? Oh, Drew, would you go long here on Tesla?
Sorry, had to
Would you
unmute.
buy shares here?
Hell no.
No, this is a hell no, guys. I'm telling you, if you're long Tesla from way back levels or 280, if you guys recall, we were flirting there for add-ons. I would not add shares here.
That's a massive sell.
Yeah, this is a massive sell. So just be careful. I'm not telling you, get
And
rid of
then
it, but protect
buy
yourself.
back in at 170, 171-ish.
Yeah. 171 is golden. Apple, actually went and saw the new iPhone 7. I don't know what the hype's about. I really don't. Just a bigger phone.
That's also a hell no there.
No, this is
Better cameras.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but and monthly top is closed. It's actually decently closed. So any hit to 252, it might not be a bad idea to sell some calls if you have existing shares to protect yourself. The recent high is at 260. So I personally am not very bullish. This is their new product cycle. People are excited. But as a recession hits, how many people are thinking about phone? Probably not many. So just keep an eye on it. But those are two big names. Any other ones you guys need me to look at?
Campbell Soup.
TPP. So this is probably the best thing you could see on Campbell's soap. Does anyone? Oh, isn't this what I'm looking for on TTD?
Yeah, that's a buy.
This is a strong buy, guys. This is a buy as it gets. You clean the poor low. You clean up poor lows. You're getting some buyers. This is a buy. This is as a buy as it gets, and this is probably going to about 44, 47. I don't know how liquid they are. Liquid in options, but I just don't know how liquid. You're talking about, most likely you're gonna hit 44, and ultimately you're looking at 47, 40% gains on CPB, and they have dividends, really good dividends. This is a buy for me personally. Just looks very good. I'm gonna change the chart here. Let's see. Oh, they just reclaimed quarterly bottom as well. May detach this guy. 1 second, I'm trying to bring this chart. Come on. 47 inch, 49 inch screen to 33 is pretty painful. So let's see this guy. So here's your quarterly, right? So you see the rejection bottom. This is the automatic supply zone that we have. If they can reclaim this right here, they're gonna fly. This is TTB, I'm sorry, CPB. Was on the bottom of the quarterly. But watch the reclaim here. If they reclaim this 34, guys, most likely 45. So 44, 45 is the level. And you have some, green arrows pointing here. So this is a strong demand, guys, on CPB. Look at the volume here. A lot of volume and price not making lower lows. Go ahead, sorry.
How do you plan the contract durations for these?
So yeah, good question. Personally, if I wanted to take a look at the accounts of how long it takes them. So watch now. I can see typically how long it takes for them to do a bull average from the top to the bottom, right? And a bear average, right? How long it takes to get to the middle level. So here it takes about 7 weeks. On bear average, it took much longer. It took 19 weeks to get to the bottom, from top to the bottom. So I typically, on the larger clouds like this one, right? Since this is the quarterly, you want to buy at least 3 to 6 months on options. That is on shares. As you probably noticed, I'm pretty frugal where I buy and where I sell. If I'm buying here, I'm holding typically till 55. Maybe trim some here or sell some calls, bring my average down, get a sign, give up my shares, ride the rest till the top. But this is a really good setup, guys, on CPB. If you're a long-term investor, it's a really good setup. I'm hoping that this cools off a little bit more. We need this to cool off a little bit. I know, Ashley, I don't know if it was you, Ashley, that you got in when I got in, but somewhere around 40s, we got in. And this guy. I did see on Twitter on Unusual Whales that the director of FBI started buying this semiconductor, but I'm not sure what the hell he's seen. I'm sure he knows something that I don't, but it's not ready yet to be bought. The only thing is here that I saw. Do you guys know what this is? And we'll talk about it next Sunday on clouds and cover a few topics. But this is in terms of monthly, this would be a bullish setup, and probably go to 60 from here. But other than that, I don't see them breaking the 60 anytime soon. On a long wait list for me is TSM, just being transparent. I'm gonna wait for this one for some time. If we're lucky that they can give us 185 or like 140, you just sell your kidneys, your liver, you can live on one. and you'll be very rich in about 10 to 15 years. MU is another one. I do have a good average on MU, but this is a spot that you might want to take some profits. And if you guys remember, we talked about this for some time. This might be one where you guys look, we're targeting about 130 or so. This might be, you know, if they give you any pullbacks to about 108, I reloaded at 108. If they come back to 108, that might be a golden opportunity on this stock. Is anyone still an MU 100 calls for January? We got him here. Maybe $70 in the money. All right. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll trade live since we don't have news and it's a new week. I'll be on. I'll join 9:30 and we'll trade away live.
Thanks, Shorty.
Shorty.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Have a good
Shorty.
night. All right. Bye bye.